So if you were with us at noon today with Keith, we were talking about the dramatic temperature change that is coming our way.
Yes.
And some of the numbers out of the Midwest right now are staggering.
Wild. And I wish I remember the exact stats because it's very important, but the temperature swings were like 40 degrees in 10 minutes or something.
Minutes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
We're not going to be quite that level, but I would say, you know, especially inland along the coast, we'll be 50 to 55 tomorrow afternoon, and then we'll be in the low teens by the next morning.
By the time we wake
so
up.
that's going to be a hard transition.
And without power, that's going to hurt.
Yeah, and that's the
Yeah.
other factor, right? Like hopefully I'm wrong on the winds. I don't say that very often, but
I
like
hope so too.
if
It
would
there's
be
going to
nice
be
if you
something,
are.
it's like because it being cold after power outage is a whole new thing.
Big problem.
And everybody getting pictures, everybody's stocking up at this because it's holidays.
Right.
But then if your fridge goes out,
Well, if
that's
it's that cold, just put it outside.
that's
Right.
true. You're right. It's a freezer. That's a good point. Finally, we're starting to see some of the precipitation from this storm on our radar picture. The initial edge of this is largely eaten away by drier air, but a couple of flurries are possible here over the next few hours over western Maine. But we widen the picture out, and here's the storm, which this part is what's going to hit us. This is the front with really sharp cold air mass behind it. Actually, next time I should show you the temperature map back there because it is brutally cold, and that's going to dig down into the south where there's probably going to be a lot of burst pipes there. House is built to a different code. Hour by hour forecast for the rest of today into tonight. Here comes a storm southwest and northeast. Just to be clear here, some of these areas like Sanford's probably a little too warm, but near there will start to snow. Cornish, for example. But they will change over to rain quickly. Mountains will hang on to snow longer. The rest of us will be rain from the onset. Rain starts coming down hard late tonight, might even wake you up in a couple of spots because the winds kick up too. And here the storm goes tomorrow morning. I think we have two chances for very strong winds. The first one will be when this band comes through. So morning to mid-morning over southern and western Maine, middle of the day into the mid-coast, and then early afternoon over down east Maine. Then here comes the front, and that's a second chance for strong wind gusts. That's 4 o'clock, 5, 6 o'clock, and then this storm is out of here. But watch those temperatures, again, from the 50s down to the teens and single digits by Saturday morning. And we don't really recover on Saturday, too. So to Amanda's point, if there are a lot of power outages, I mean, your highs here are in the teens and 20s, and houses get really cold really fast in that scenario. And again, maps I would love to have a reason to change, but I don't. I think we still have 65 to 70 mile an hour wind potential here into the mid-coast down east Maine, 55 to 65 along the coastline, even up into Bangor, and then lower wind inland where they're likely to see fewer power outages. Rainfall amounts still look like they're 2 to 3 inches, so there'll be a lot of rain and some flooding in there. And one final thought, this is good that there's snow for ski areas, but I was thinking about it may add to power outages in the mountains because they're going to see strong winds too. So 5 or 6 inches of snow plus the wind could knock out power there again. Where I'm going to be tomorrow, guys, is along the coast because I think we're going to see some pretty big, I use splash over as a term for when it's minor, and I don't think this is like that. I think we'll see water in places that don't typically get the water pushing in because the high tide is on, it's right now modeled to be a top 5 high tide in Portland's history, and it has potential to be a top 3. So those are big things. And the number 1 was the blizzard of '78, of which, of course, none of us kids were around for, but everybody knows about. And so these are the historic precedents for some of these things are not good. They're
Yeah.
storms I remember or I know of. So we'll just get through it and
Rough to
hopefully.
be on that list now.
Yeah, the '78 one is like, that was like, people still talk about that down in Massachusetts.
Oh, absolutely.
That
yeah.
storm.
Oh, it was crippling.
Yeah.
Not that level, which is good. All right,
No.
Keith, thanks so much. We'll be right back.